Okay, welcome back to Perdido Key Gaming. Today we've got some other than Magic the Gathering stuff to look at. Today we've got something I have not been able to play yet because we got it in the mail, and unfortunately, circumstances meant that nobody, everybody's staying at home. Anyway, so yeah, Gloomhaven comes in a huge box, many components, some of them which are sealed up. You don't know what they are until the rules tell you to open up the packages. The only ones you're opening are the characters that are in this. This is not a role-playing game. It's more on the lines of that Pathfinder game where it's a fantasy board game. It's a campaign comprised of scenarios. As your characters gain experience, they go up in power. And the reason I'm not showing you the box is because the box is massive, and I couldn't, suppose I could have figured out a way to mount the camera higher to show the box off. But anyway, yeah, it's definitely a big boy. There's, I guess the rules are fairly simple for, I've gone through the rules a couple of times. The rules are pretty simple as far as, how you complete a scenario and what you get from the scenario as rewards and things like that, and what happens during the campaign, which is kind of a random draw type thing, or, as the scenarios go on, certain things are triggered, and, but your characters are of the usual types: the scoundrel, you got the warrior type, none of them which, they say human, but she doesn't look very human to me. The abilities are, it's card-based, so your abilities are in a deck, which you're pulling cards from to, in a hand to play against for your attacks or your moves or any other special abilities like that. Some of the cards are equipment, things like that. The monsters come in various forms. Each scenario will tell you what kind of monsters are present, depending on how many folks in the experience of your guys are. So, some of the monsters are flying, but they all got the same basic, basic stats and everything like that. Of course, some of them are going to be higher for the more powerful guys. And your attacks, every time you attack, you pull a card, which could, which modifies your attack. It could add some poison. It could add, twice the amount of damage. It could, you could end up comboing them because you get to, your attack was so powerful that you end up doing more attack, more damage and things like that. And as you go up in experience, of course, you're adding cards to that deck, so that's kind of cool. But this is kind of the way the scenarios shows you what's in the scenario and how it's supposed to be laid out with these various geomorphic boards and things like that. Yeah, so there's traps in here, there's hazardous terrain, obstacles. The monsters are not run by a person, or a games master or anything like that. They're run by the AI. The rule set tells you how the monsters will move and who they'll attack and things like that. You're not supposed to, give out too much information when you're talking to the other players. So yeah, you reveal rooms, you attack, you can use ranged weapons, melee weapons, things like that. There's area effects, for the usual, fireball and things like that, I would imagine. There's infusions that happen when the board when you fire off spells, the board gets infused with magic, so. But otherwise, you know, you loot. Anybody can pick up the treasure. You know, obviously you want to kind of not be that guy. You know, picks up all the treasure. But yeah, so it tells, you know, that it's got an order of action. You know, due to initiative. You know, there's an initiative system in here. The characters, you know, as it shows here, for each of your levels, you get more hit points, as it were, and you keep track of them. And once you're exhausted, and you can't play, you know, unless you get healed up. Lots of rules on how the monsters move, how the monsters attack, other monster abilities, you know, things like that. The monsters can, as you can see here, monsters can be of various levels and things like that. And you know, you track the scenario, and you finish the scenario, and you get there's goals and things like that you're trying to reach during a scenario, and if you complete the goals, then you get extra. You go up in levels on a different level anyway. So you know, casual. You can play in the campaign mode, or you can just play, you know, play scenarios and things like that. That's kind of fun. But yeah, it comes with a big board, and the big board is made of cardboard and things like that. There's stickers that you put on there. Unfortunately, that means when you're sticking stuff on here, the board doesn't become reusable. So, but fortunately, there are, you know, removable sticker packs that you can buy. And there's more expansions on this game as well. So. But every time you finish the scenario, it gives you some information of, you know, where the next scenario has to go when you're in campaign mode. And, you know, you're going along, you're filling in your brute is, you know, Enoch's brute. You're getting perks, you're gaining experience, you're gaining gold to buy more equipment, things like that. And you got, you know, personal quest cards. Once, you know, there's random item design cards, random side scenarios, city and road event cards as you're going along the road to get to the next scenario. Something happens, you know, the characters make a choice and, you know, take effects of that nature. You know, you're gaining global achievements all along the way, how the campaign is going, and you know, it gives you this thing about reputation and visiting the town and completing city events and buying and selling items. And as the town goes up in level, more cards, more equipment cards become revealed, so that, you know, higher level items are going to be for sale at the city. And you know, you can donate to the sanctuary and get 2 bless cards put in your attack deck. You enhance your abilities, all sorts of stuff, you know, and all these enhancements you're buying off the townsfolk and things like that. Then you know, if a character currently fulfills the conditions of his personal quest and visiting Gloomhaven, the character must announce that he's retiring or she's retiring. So, but cannot go on any more scenarios, and basically retires, and then they have to start a new character. But when you fulfill personal quests, it unlocks more of that content I was talking about. You open up another envelope, and it might be a new character class. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. When a specific character class retires, new city and road events are usually added to the event decks. As I said, as Gloomhaven's prosperity rises, you know, you're adding to the town development. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a strategic / tactical game, you know. But you know, so big that they have to, you know, add had a whole back page full of things like that. You know, of course, you have the scenario book, which, you know, don't read too much into it, you know. But yeah, you get pretty big 119, 120 page scenario book. I did get one of the expansions, which is the Astral something or another. There's a character that's unlocked right at the beginning. It's Aether Diviner, of course. So, and then they got, you know, more things that character is able to do, because there's new rules and mixed elements, and you know, some other new locations and things like that, and of course more scenarios. So anyway, yeah, that's about it for Gloomhaven, big box game. Pretty huge. It's not one of those I'd be worried about, you know, having it out on the table, because it's a scenario-based thing. So, you know, the cats aren't jumping up on top of your game and scattering counters. It's scattering counters everywhere. So, you know, it's pretty interesting. There's more, like I said, there's more stuff out there. It is pretty expensive for a board game. I think I got it for $100 or something like that, but it looks to be pretty interesting. I would love to get this started at some point, you know, and play Gloomhaven, at least a couple of scenarios to see how it works out, because, you know, despite the fact you can watch a video or look at the rules, it's always more fun to figure out this stuff on your own. Anyway, that's it for Perdido Key Gaming. Hit like, hit subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you play Gloomhaven, what you think. And we'll see you tomorrow.